I'm back here at home on the issue of immigration. Investigative Post continues to report on allegations of abuse at the ICE facility in Batavia. They've been following it closely, and now attorneys and their clients, who are detainees, are accusing leaders at the facility of medical neglect. They claim serious issues have gone untreated, medications have been denied, needed medical appointments delayed. J. Shoemaker joins us live here tonight. He's a reporter with Investigative Post, been covering this closely. You detail several instances based on lawsuits, based on interviews. I mean, what stands out the most as to what's happening there right now?
The headline here, Michael, is that these issues at the Batavia Detention Center predate the current Trump administration, but President Trump's crackdown on immigration is only making these problems worse. This was not a great place for a detainee to be held prior. These issues that we are reporting on, they date back, 2 years, sometimes 3 years. We're talking injuries that go untreated, illnesses that are never cared for, sometimes even injuries within the facility that are not then treated. However, this place is now overcrowded. It has been overcrowded nearly every day since June. And the medical staff, what little there is no doctor on staff. What little medical staff is there is strained. Wait times for outside appointments have only grown. And detainees are now really, really suffering.
And what's important to note here is a lot of people who are housed there at the moment have not had their full due process, right? These are not people who have, for instance, been convicted of crimes, and people might say, well, they're getting what they deserve, right? These are people who for the most part, this should be temporary housing.
Well, that's a good point. So there's two points to address here. Number one, yes, the majority of those who are being held in Batavia do not have a criminal history. That is what the federal government's own data shows us. The majority of them, they have immigration violations, but they have no criminal record. The second point is for those who do have criminal records, they have served their time. They have served their state prison sentence. They have served their federal prison sentence. They are simply being held there as they await deportation. For the detainees that I talk to, many of them tell me that the conditions in Batavia are far worse than any prison that they've spent time in. And on that note, the prisons, the state and federal prisons, they do have doctors on staff. They do provide medical care, and that is not the case in Batavia.
In the time I have left here, what is the push to try to change this? What does that effort look like?
There are lawsuits that are ongoing for some of these detainees. In some cases, a judge has ruled that a detainee should be released because they are at risk of death. That was the case with the man Searing Cisse. He has a number of heart conditions, was on a number of medications. His detention caused delays in those medications. He then suffered, quote, a stroke-like syndrome because of that delay. A judge over the summer ordered him released because he faced death if he continued to miss his medications. So you have a couple cases like that. Other detainees, including one who suffered a very bad concussion that was never properly treated, they just don't get any medical care at all. I've been emailing with this fella since he's been deported to Nigeria. The healthcare system over there is even worse than it is here, and he is still suffering very badly.
Encourage you to read this article. Great reporting as always, Dale. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. Have a good weekend.